The history of the Dick and Carey model began with its introduction in 1978 in the book Systematic Design of Instruction. The designers were Walter Dick, Lou Carey, and James Carey. Hence the name Dick and Carey model emerged. Their multiple learning perspectives approach is based on a 9-step model for planning and designing effective learning initiatives. This model is based upon the behaviorist assumption that there is a predictable link between a stimulus and the response that is elicits in the learner. This model focuses on design rather than the implementation itself. Dick and Carey believed that the instructor, learners, materials, instructional activities, delivery system, and learning work together to produce the desired outcomes. The Dick and Carey model is to break instruction down into smaller components or granular objectives that collectively constitute the competency to be acquired. All right, this model looks at instructional design as a systems view of instruction as opposed to the view of instruction as isolated parts. So the view is a linear design that is continuous design due to the constant revision. All parts flow into each other. The 9-step process views learning as a comprehensive system rather than many individual systems. This process is also based on the core elements of the ADDIE model. Step 1, a description of what the learners are expected to perform at the end of the instruction. Step 2, your instructional analysis determines the current state of skills and knowledge in your learning population, and through this, your gap to your goals. Step 3, students' behaviors, traits, levels of motivation, and other factors that will affect their learning journey. Step 4, performance objectives consist of a description of the tasks or skills to be learned, the standards or criteria, and the conditions that the task must be performed. Step 5, tests and evaluations are created. Step 6, create a blueprint of the learning activities that will transfer, develop, and reinforce the skills and knowledge formulated in the performance objectives. Step 7, using the blueprint created in the previous step, fully develop the instructional content and activities. Step 8, formative evaluation involves assessing how effectively you have formulated your learning initiative. And step 9, judge the worthiness of the entire program with the focus being on the outcome. Then revise as necessary. This can be an ongoing process depending on each component and their ability to feed into the next component. Examples of the Dick and Carey model. The aim of this study is to develop an instructional design model for science laboratory instruction. Well-known ID models were analyzed, and Dick and Carey model was imitated to produce a science laboratory instructional design model, SLID. There are several main reasons behind implementing the Dick and Carey model. First, this model incorporates most of the major components common to all models, including analysis, design, development, and evaluation. Second, it provides a systematic framework for conducting a laboratory work. Third, it enables breaking down the laboratory activity into steps. According to the goals of laboratory courses, the characteristics of division into sub-steps becomes beneficial for the planning of certain elements of content that influence the choice of elements like instructional objectives, analyzing learners, and instructional conditions. This model shows the two models mostly overlap. Some items specific to the SLID model stand alone, mostly because of the lack of implementation phase of the Dick and Carey model. The next study was a study conducted to get feedback from art and design students on their opinions of the courseware developed using the Dick and Carey model. The courseware is aimed to develop the students' artistic skills using technological assistance. The artistic skills included in the courseware are vital for students in preparation of becoming a future art educator. The main objectives of this study was to gather responses from the ADA students to evaluate the effectiveness of the courseware that was designed and developed based on Dick and Carey's instructional design model for artistic skills knowledge enhancement. This study has successfully described the process of developing the courseware and issues relating to the effectiveness of the elements to support the Dick and Carey instructional design model. Using the Dick and Carey model to implement my own instruction, this will be a Dick and Carey systems approach to teaching students the elements of art. I am identifying my instructional goals as the end result. I would like my learners to be able to write or have a meaningful conversation on a piece of art utilizing the elements of art and how they are used. I plan to use this with my students that are already familiar with all of the elements of art. I would likely start this in 3rd grade. To begin, students will learn to recognize elements of art in works of art. Students will then discuss, write, and recognize the elements of art used in works of art. The learner's current skills will be taken into account when determining the instructional setting. The skills will be reviewed and learned under the circumstances in which the skills must be performed. Practice tests and pre-tests will be administered according to the instructional analysis. The instructional strategy will reflect the most current strategy to be used to achieve the objective. The materials will be a computer-based multimedia along with instructor guides and student models. A formative evaluation will take place. The instructional strategy will be reviewed and all considerations may be incorporated into revisions of the instruction for a more effective instructional tool. Finally, a summative evaluation will be given as to the effectiveness of the instruction, though this is not typically considered part of the design process. And finally, I have the Elements of Art chart, and I have Vincent van Gogh's The Starry Night from 1889. What elements of art do you see in this picture, and can you name at least 4 of the elements? And that's all I have for you all, and thank you very much.